Welcome to the Porsche Club Insider, your one stop for all things Porsche and PCA. Here's your host, Vu Gwyn, and the Insider crew.
Welcome everyone to Porsche Club Insider. Around the table, we're here at PCA's national office, and we have our dear friend, a regular now, I think we can say that, on the show. We have Bob Miller, owner of At Speed Motors, and of course we have Manny and Damon and myself around the table. And today we're going to take a look at a number of auctions and cars that are in them. But before we get into that, I want to thank Pirelli for their sponsorship, and I want to thank you for listening. If you aren't currently a PCA member and own a Porsche, grab that VIN, head over to PCA.org and get yourself set up with a PCA membership. It's only $56 a year, and you get lots of incredible resources and access to things that every Porsche owner should have. And for those of you that are looking to put a Porsche on your driveway or in your garage, we have the test drive program, which you can join and get access to the mart and resources. Call Manny even maybe to help you find your special car.
I thought this would be a perfect time to get a sponsor who was like a quick get rich quick schemes. You know, the guys that had the infomercials at 2 a.m. And, get my book. And you too can be surrounded by all these women in cars.
Well, why don't we just give out your cell phone number, and then folks can reach you just about any time.
I'm pretty sure our numbers are on every wall. And
it is so rare for me to answer a phone number I don't recognize. Yeah. There's so much spam out there that the one time I do it, then it's either warranty or not even looking for me. It's somebody else that they're looking for. What I do want to do, listen, this is early in the show. If anyone has a good dealership experience story, positive, negative, doesn't even have to be a Porsche dealer, just the lovely task of going car shopping and dealing with dealers. I'm imagining most of them are probably going to be negative, but any positive we'll take too, because we're looking for a car for my wife. We've settled on the Macan, as she said. Why drive anything else? Because I know I'm going to love the Macan. So I thought, well, she's been
you've had her
brainwashed after 30-some years that
good for
she
you.
wouldn't even consider it to you.
This is exciting.
So and she drove. She didn't get to drive a Cayenne, but she really loves a Macan size-wise, and so she's set on it. So we've had some experiences. I'm going to save them for an episode about where we talk about dealer experiences of going to buy a car, which I really don't like having to shop for cars, especially going to dealers, but I do like CPOs.
Yeah.
So that means I have to go to a dealer to.
I can only imagine. I've been shopping with you for stuff and clothes, and how you detest that. I can't imagine going.
You guys go clothes shopping together?
Oh yeah. I've had to dress him. We go to we travel somewhere. I'm like,
odd couple. I'm telling you.
I'm colorblind. I need someone to tell me whether or not.
Let me just tell you, the one time we were in the EC meeting, and he walks through the door, and he looks like he's going for a safari. I'm like, why are you dressed in tan from top to bottom?
You've heard of Garanimals, right?
No, and he goes, I am? Like, he didn't realize he was dressed in tan.
So I asked my wife, is this okay? She said, yes. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, but then she went back and told the girls, it's like, I set your dad out with that.
Rolled over and went back to bed. She was half asleep.
I'm like, are you going on a safari or something? Like, I mean, it was so distracting. I couldn't stop it, paying attention to it in the meeting. Anyways,
put in the comments on this YouTube, or you can send us an email at podcast@pca.org. And, I want to do it. Once this whole experience is done, it'd be interesting to hear people's dealership stories.
Okay. Would it be okay if I thanked Bob and Rich at Speed for helping me out recently?
If you wanted to help you out again, which I think is going to happen.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Thank you. I have one less car that is inoperable on my driveway. So,
what is the surcharge for DIYers who come to the mechanic?
No. It's awful. I mean, literally, he said, he said, guys, what do I owe you? And we wanted him out of the shop so badly. We just said, we'll pay you to get out of the shop.
I was so good about it. I was so good. As soon as I broke the bolt for my, what was this, crank position sensor, as soon as it broke, I just got out of bottom of the car and just put all my tools away. Like I didn't try to make it worse. I was like, that's it. I'm done. Cause it was cold. I was outside and it was kind of, snow was on the ground and I just left it there. So anyways, thankfully,
thank God he's not a surgeon.
My God. Yeah.
I cut the wrong artery.
Right.
I'm done.
Sorry, everybody. Yeah. Just show him back up. I'll fix it tomorrow.
Yeah.
So when he wakes up, tell him to go to someone who knows what they're doing.
So thank you. I know it was only one bolt, but it was a very critical bolt, and now I'm enjoying driving my Cayenne.
Remember what I told you? In the internet, you can fix that with a Q-tip and a pair of pliers.
Yeah.
So no problem.
In what, 5 minutes?
Oh yeah, 5 minutes.
Yeah, the all the repairs or the DIY videos for that repair, everyone was so concerned about, can you get to the plug that's behind the blower motor? I did that in like 2 minutes.
Sure.
And I was like, oh, home free.
It's always the bolt that is rusted.
Yeah,
and that's always the problem.
That's why I hate dealing with any bolts underneath a car that has lived in our area. Exhaust work, a sensor bolt. I mean, you saw the underneath of my car, and unfortunately, it is what it is.
It's okay.
It
just has been exposed to salt, so there's nothing you can do.
I'll just drive it until I can't drive it.
There you go.
So, anyways, we've got some.
I will make it funny. I'll show you this funny thing. So, we got the white Sonic my wife drives.
Yeah.
That's called the I won't say it on here. S box.
Slow box.
You can you can. That's not what we call it. So I do a Carvana to see. I wonder what it's worth if it can contribute to the purchase of this Macan.
Oh gosh.
And what do you think? Our 165,000 mile Sonic with no body damage, very good interior. What do you think?
What model year?
2012.
2012
base model.
$7,000.
I would say
$2,000.
$1,500.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are way off. $300.
$300.
I didn't realize they went that low for Carvana.
So let me explain myself.
You can't even get an oil change for the price of your Sonic.
I thought you were going to blow our minds with they're actually paying me like.
I said this to Roxanne. I go, I think when we just keep this car for when our daughter comes home or anybody needs an extra car.
$300.
That's almost a slap in the face.
That's how Carvana
You know what?
makes
Sell
money.
that. Get the Camry.
I'm thinking of selling to Rob.
Oh, for when he comes in, he doesn't have to rent a car. He can just
anymore.
It's a great idea. Actually, keep it here.
I should have said,
$300.
what is the value if it gets stolen? Might be able to.
Oh boy,
Not
here we
that it
go.
would happen,
Probably
but-
more.
Beep 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 beep.
We do not encourage you to go into those sorts of
Just if. That's
Just
why you
if.
have insurance. Just if.
$300.
Anyways.
Wow, I can't believe they offer something that low. But I guess that's how they make their money, because they could probably
I
sell
have
it
a
for.
feeling that they used to offer more like 2 or 3 years ago. I guess when the market was higher and there was more demand for used cars. For a while there, after the pandemic, used cars went up in value a lot.
Yeah.
And I think now that things have probably settled down, that in reality has hit them in the face,
Yeah.
that they're not giving you that much.
All right. Well, let's get into these auctions. By the time this episode airs, these auctions will still be upcoming. The first one is RM Sotheby. That's going to be February 27th through 28th in Miami. Gooding and Company is going to be March 6th in Amelia, and Broad Arrow's auction will be March 7th through 8th, also at Amelia. So
Just like having divorced parents now with the ModaMiami and the Amelia Island thing is like split, and
it is splitting.
now it's
Yeah.
making enthusiasts go to 2 places, like having kids go to have 2 Christmases.
But thank goodness,
I don't like it.
Thank goodness it's not on the same weekend, because the last year
Last year was.
that
Finally,
really
they had
tough.
I guess neither one won that war.
Yeah.
Well, it's 2 boys fighting.
Yeah.
2 boys with a lot of money fighting.
Yeah.
So anyways,
still,
And we lose.
I decided to
Yeah.
include RM. I was surprised to see that Bonhams was gone.
There's some stories of Bonhams that we should probably look into and report back.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
You can't like leave it like that. Anyways,
Dun, 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 dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
Right.
I did not realize also that Gooding was acquired by Christie's.
Oh, I didn't know that
I did
either.
not know that.
Yeah, and it was back in the summer too.
No
Yeah.
kidding.
That went right by our.
Those of you
Carrera.
that are listening, if you know the backstory on Bonhams, feel free to comment and share it with us. All right, let's go to let's go to Moda and RM Sotheby. And the first car we have here, straight out of an episode of Miami Vice in wine red metallic, a name that is, if you like modified cars, if you like Radwood, this car is definitely one that you'll enjoy.
If you also like true crime stories
and
it's a
true
great
crime
store.
stories, you got it.
Great
Now,
car.
this was a super low mileage car. It looks incredible. The body work on this Gembella is actually quite tame compared to later ones. I think it's because this one's in 81. It's a 1981 928. I think 928S. I couldn't see.
Yeah.
928S in wine red metallic with a wide body kit. And I bet in 1981, those BBS wheels looked huge and crazy. But today, they look kind of pretty tame.
I mean, overall, a good looking car.
Yeah.
You know, it's not overly done, and it's a great color.
Great color.
So the reserve, or not the reserve, the
Estimate?
the estimate is what surprised me, 125 to 175. I'd never realized that these cars were still worth that much money. Which brings it, I always wonder, what are the Singers, what are the Gunther Works, what are these cars going to look like in 20, 30 years from now? Are they still going to be as in demand? And that's a pretty hefty price for a
Yeah, I mean,
Gembella. I don't know if Gembella was that known for, because it says the 4.7 V8 rated at 300, so it wasn't like if they put turbos on it or.
so this one was bought as a factory car, obviously, and then driven like that for a while. And then at some point in its life, the Gembella body kit was fitted along with the BBS wheels. So, and that's how most Gemballas, I believe, are built. Usually it's not like,
I thought this was a super low mileage car.
Yeah, it is very low mileage.
Yeah, but it didn't, Gemballa. It didn't start out as a Gemballa. It started out as a Porsche, and then it was made into a Gemballa a little bit later. So it's not like this is a Singer or Gunther Works where the whole thing is like totally built from the ground up.
I see what you're saying.
Or I should
This
say
is a
built,
very
rebuilt.
mild. To me, it's very mild
Very
because the drivetrain looks the same. The interior doesn't look much different.
It's basically a body kit and wheels.
Let me ask Bob. 100-mile 928S.
100 miles.
100
What
miles.
could go wrong?
I mean, what do you think a car like that's worth?
A 1981?
928S, 81, non-Gembella.
Probably more than the Gemballa. Actually.
Yeah, the issue is super low mileage cars bring out a completely different buyer.
Right.
And so those buyers are off the scale. You can't really figure out what's going to happen, because if somebody wants an untouched car from whatever period, there it is in front of them.
Yeah.
They have one shot at it.
Right.
And so it can go absolutely crazy.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. I mean,
But the issue here is the classic 928 question. Do I go 5-speed or do I go automatic? And the Gembella is automatic.
Which was a 3-speed automatic back then.
Yeah.
I think the buyer on this car doesn't even care about the
Well, and
transmission.
that's the question.
Because you're not going to want to put more miles on
Yeah,
it.
you're probably
Right.
not driving.
I mean, this car is a museum car, and it will continue to be a museum car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
All right,
It looks
so-
really cool.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Gemballas are sort of on the edge for me, but this one looks nice.
Yeah, it's tastefully done for what some might say. Usually, it's very extravagant. Now, this next one, man, I like 968s, but the estimate of $550,000 to $750,000 for this 1994 968 Turbo S in blue, and I know it's one of 13,
Right.
but that kind of money,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
really?
The issue with this one, as I recall, I think it's 111,000 kilometers. Is that right?
It's been driven.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, if you're a transaxle person, this is the ultimate.
This is the Holy Grail car.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're, as you can see, they made 13. And so rarest of the rare, really.
Really rare is the RS, which they made, 3 or 4?
Oh, the
Turbo RS.
968. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's even rarer. But within reach of, let's say, a big check
Yeah.
is the turbo. So
Don't hate me.
I don't know.
Out
I
of
mean,
all the cars of the auction houses that we looked at for this particular episode, this is the car I would buy. And then that's because, like, I don't see myself driving a 904 on the street or whatever, but a 968 Turbo S, why not? You'll fly under the radar?
I want to say is don't hate me.
Yeah.
But for 550 to 750, that car doesn't have a 550, 750 presence. It just doesn't. It's a nice car, and I know it's rare, but you can buy a lot of stuff for 550.
I look at that as like probably like an expensive bottle of wine.
Yeah.
I won't be able to appreciate it.
Yeah.
But the person who's sharing the wine is probably giving it to people who will be able to appreciate it. And this is the kind of car where enthusiasts will know what it is and how rare it is. And
is this, Bob, back to what you said earlier, is this one of those one-shot cars? Like, if you want a 968 Turbo S, maybe they don't come up for sale often? Or
Well, I know of two others that are for sale right now, and this one is hurt by its mileage. So the other one I know of is a great color and much lower mileage, and they're asking $850.
Really?
So this one isn't out of the ballpark of
Okay.
what does the market value it at, and then what is the mileage commensurate with that value.
Gotcha. Well, it is a beautiful car. It's just, it's hard for me to understand because
Oh,
I can't think in that scale, right?
I
So,
agree. I mean, you sit down and you say, what else could I buy?
Yeah, yeah. All right, this next one coming up is a 2023. You gotta love blue. It's a,
this is all from the Todd Blue Lapis collection.
yeah.
Yep.
And here we have a 2023 911 Sport Classic, 500 to 650. Your thoughts?
With $111,000 worth of custom tailoring from Porsche exclusive. Wow.
Yeah.
So this it looks very customized.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, 500,000 if this sold for that, and I don't want to use the word loosely, but I think that's a bargain.
I would say so. This car has that presence I was talking about.
Yeah.
Like, you look at this car and you know it's all the dollars.
So you two are like, oh man, now this is what I'm talking about.
but you don't
I
see
would
that.
buy the 968 Turbo S over this.
Really?
Yeah. It's a 992 turbo with rear-wheel drive. I mean,
It drives much different than it.
yeah, it does. I don't know. It's to me, and I haven't driven one, and Manny has, so he knows a lot better than I do. But to me, I'm thinking it's just a 911 turbo with rear-wheel drive.
It's similar. They worked hard to make the chassis a little bit more lively, but in its raw form and boiling it all down, you're right.
Yeah,
So, okay.
yeah, and so
But you
Very
could say
cool
you
car.
could say that about every 911.
Yeah.
Well, it's just a
Just a
911.
911.
yeah. I'm playing devil's advocate here, but yeah, I would totally go for that 968
Here
Turbo S.
I can see more of where my money's going.
Yeah.
Right. And what they did to make it special.
Well, and it's certainly one of one.
Yeah.
mean-
It is one of one.
Nobody else did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your opinion on blue wheels?
Me personally,
Yeah.
you know me, I'm a stock guy.
Yeah.
So
Well, technically, that is stock.
it's stock, but I think it's a little much.
it's a bit over the top.
I
for
love
me.
it.
Yeah. Usually wheels that are the same color as the body. That's not really.
So
That's not
that
my
has
thing.
a silver edge on the wheel, right?
No.
I don't
No,
know.
it does
What's
not.
that? Shiny.
That's
thing I'm
just
looking
the
at?
tire shiny. It's all blue.
Honestly, I think the car would look better with silver.
Yeah.
But that's,
Yeah.
again,
I mean, I don't think it looks bad. I just think it's
When your name is Todd Blue,
true. Okay.
you must have
Yeah.
blue.
Man,
don't
Manny,
settle
Good
for
point. Good
silver.
point. Good point.
Did
Good
you
point,
pick
good point.
another Turbo S or Sport Classic?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
All right, before we move on, I'm gonna find. I did pick a Sport Classic in Dolphin Gray. Now that, in my opinion, and you guys are probably going, but it's just white. But
No, I
Is
think
that
that's
Dolphin
a
Gray?
yeah, it's Dolphin Gray.
It
I
looks
thought it
like
was white.
Carrera white.
It does
Yeah.
look very
Yeah, but Dolphin Gray.
I
but
think that's a beautiful car.
I know, and
Yeah.
the color and the wheels, even in the same color, to me.
Very understated.
But
Yeah.
that I mean,
I would think that too. I'm not,
that's within $100,000 of the other car,
Yeah.
and the other car is more exclusive.
Yeah,
I like the Sport
Right?
Classic.
I guess.
To me, give it to me in any color is fine.
yeah. I mean, they're both Sport Classics. They're just a different color combination.
No, I
right?
think that's beautiful as well.
I prefer this one.
It'll
You
be
guys-
interesting-
Side note there.
It'll be interesting. I'm sure the owners of Sport Classics, like our friend, will Does he still have his Sport Classic?
He does.
All right. I'm sure we'll be looking at the auctions coming up to see where the market
Yeah, but as you call him, our friend, he's not going to sell it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
so
but it's still good. I'm not going to sell my 914, but I still
I'll
see
say.
when,
I was about to say, I thought you have a contract for 40 grand or something like that with
well,
Bob.
it went from 40 to 45 to 50 to I'm dying.
let's see
with
where
it.
the economy goes.
You should have seized the moment.
I
Bob.
did. I said, all right, I'll be over tomorrow.
Waiting for the email asking me if I want to resign or
I
stay
could
on.
work on that from the back door.
Anyways, it'll be interesting to see how this market goes because this car obviously has gone up in value from new, and it hasn't really come down.
No.
Well,
Rear-wheel drive
it
turbo.
artificially went up because the dealer said, okay, we'll give you the car, but it's $150,000 more over MSRP.
Yeah, but that was because of demand. If they weren't selling it, you would have seen that all come down, and people are like, "Okay, take my money, please."
Sure.
Yeah. And the next one here is, I think universally we're going to be drooling over this car. This car is a 1993 911 Turbo S lightweight. And I think the estimate
Silver
for
is it?
Yeah.
Polar silver? Or what
Yeah.
color is that?
the estimate for this one is 800 to $1 million, and I think that's worth it.
Polar
Every
silver
single
metallic,
penny.
yeah.
If I had the money.
So this is
gosh.
back when, for those of you that are new to the Porsche world, Porsche did not come out with the Turbo S model as the first model. They would usually save it for the end of the run, and that's the way it was with this 911 Turbo S. It was near the end of the 964 era.
And I think this one I could get a green light from my wife because it belonged
For a 118 scale model?
because it belonged to Steffi Graf's dad.
There you go.
Wow, that is a stretch.
Yeah, and I'll throw water on the fire.
Oh no.
I don't like the 3.3 turbos. The torque curve is Mount Everest.
Yeah.
I can hear Steve Wood right now typing on the
They're
comments.
well, they're very difficult
What
to
does
drive.
he know? What does he know?
And I mean, it's a beautiful body. I love the 964 body. That engine
Yeah.
is just tough to drive.
So I think a lot of people see this car and they think the Bad Boys car.
Mm-hmm.
The Bad Boys cars is a
94.
also
3.6 or
it's a
Yeah,
3.6.
I think it's a 3.6.
It's a
right?
3.6 car,
right?
yeah.
And so that's a different
Yeah.
car.
Yeah, but and not only that, this is the lightweight.
Yeah.
So this is a very, very special model over top the Bad Boys 94 car.
Yeah.
400 pounds they took off this from the regular Turbo S.
Yeah.
So the Turbo S is rare to begin with, and then you get the lightweight package.
And we never had this car in the States.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh!
Yeah, this is
No.
a year
All the
old.
great stuff we stared
year
at
old.
from 5,000 miles away.
And this is also when Porsche like doing horrendously. The economy's bad. We're coming out of recession. It's just a bad time to be buying luxury cars. So production numbers had to be very low.
It's a piece of art.
They are beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
What was the lowest these cars were at?
There's
At
a
one point.
package car that I know about that's very similar to this, that went for $345 about 3 or 4 years ago.
Wow.
And that would be the most comparable number.
Uh-huh.
And then, of course, these have just skyrocketed.
Yeah.
Again, rarity. So you look at that 968 Turbo S,
Mm-hmm.
and where is it going? Nowhere but up.
Nowhere but up. Yep. All right, the next one here we have, I would say this is a mortal buy. It's a 1990 944 S2 Cabriolet in white with 16,000 miles or so. Estimate 40,000 to 50,000.
Given the mileage, that seems a little light. The overall market for a normal S2 is right around those numbers.
So what I love about the
So you think
S2
it
is-
should fetch more? Is what you're saying?
Potentially because of the mileage. Just the mileage.
So what I like about the
Okay.
S2s is they almost have a speedster look with the top up.
Mm-hmm.
It's not all convertibles look good with the top up, but this one does. What I don't like about the 944, 968 cabs is they start life off as a coupe, and then they're sent to ASC,
ASC.
and ASC cuts the top off, and that little cap you see around the tonneau cover, That's where they cut it off. And that
They cut the
essentially
top
covers it
off,
up.
but they also lower the windshield, so it's a little bit more raked back, which is
Yeah,
why
it gives it a speedster look.
why it
You know,
gives
it's a
it
great
a
look.
little bit better.
I love the and many every time I think Rob and I see one on the mart, we're always talking about tempted to will these go up in value? Will these become something that collectors will go after? Because you don't see too many of them on the road.
What would this car command if it was a coupe?
Well, here's the weird thing. So, a normal S2 cab, let's say the market is high 20s to low 40s. Okay. And the weird thing is, if you have a super low mileage 944 S2 coupe with factory limited slip, sports seats, and things like that, it's a real unicorn. And so you might get super lucky and see high 40s.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, because if you want that chassis, it's super hard to find. And then you start bouncing off what the cost would be for a turbo, which in 88 and 89 was, you could get the Turbo S. And now all of a sudden you have this amazing performance. And so, per Damon, what else could you buy for the money?
A 944 Turbo Cabriolet.
Did they make those?
I believe so.
In Europe, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I was
Or
going to
they
say,
sold them
man,
in
I've
Europe.
never
That's
seen
not
one.
See
cheap.
that? That's what you get.
yeah.
But there's a real weird anomaly. So a really good buy are 944 cabs, 968 cabs, and 964 cabs. They're cheap
Yeah.
by comparison
Sure.
to their
Yeah.
their
I agree
brethren,
with that.
which are
Yeah.
coupes.
Coupes. Yeah.
Having not driven the 968 or 944 S2 cabs, but having driven a 964 cab, but also having sort of denigrated the 964 cab for years, thinking, "Oh, it's the cab."
No, they're great
It was
cars.
actually it impressed me a lot more than I thought it would, and we have a video on that actually on that drive. But
The
a lot better
interesting
than I
thing
realized.
for you would be to go from a 91 cab to a 91 coupe. And just see the difference. It's
Yeah.
massively different.
Yeah.
But the cab is a great drive.
Yeah, and if you're driving them not back to back alone, a normal person like me is not going to be like the 964 cab. I can feel the cowl shake. It's such a worse car. No, it was
it's a
great
Porsche.
drive. Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's still torsionally a lot weaker.
I'm one of the very few people, and as you know, I have a cab. I love open air motoring, and most people that are getting cars are not tracking them, right? And driving on a brisk evening with the top down, your motor at full swing on a back road. Man, that's
Just bring your A bite. We'll cut off the top.
that's. Is it true? Is it true that the European market? Because I see when we see cars for sale in Europe, cabs do really well. Like they see it as a luxury to have a cabriolet, and I don't know if they command a premium, but they don't. There isn't as big of a delta between.
Well, and
groups.
remember, the cabs were more expensive.
Yeah. So is that the case now still that they
Yeah,
like cabs?
Europeans, for whatever reason, really like their cabs.
Yeah.
And then in the United States, obviously, cabs and Targas are most valued in California. There's no other state even close that gives that premium.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, so let's change it up, and we're gonna.
Did anybody else have anything at the RM that they liked? That
Let's see. I'll take a quick look. It was we covered my two.
okay.
Move on?
Yep.
Okay, so let's move on to March 6th, Amelia's auction at Gooding and Company. Now, this one is in the tag, it shows 356B coupe,
Yeah.
but it's got a very, dare I say, odd body to it. And it's a Manny, can you share the coach maker on this one?
Butler,
Beutler.
Butler?
Yeah.
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 So this is the first Beutler coupe I've seen. I've seen the Cabriolet that they made. And the best way to describe it is like an elongated 356. Still a two-door. A little bit different than the notchback. That once you've seen a notchback, it looks like it has two large windows on the side. This one is, you know how the Model Y has like that windshield that's much bigger than
Yeah.
stylistically it should be.
Right.
And I guess, for by function, it's probably great. Looks wise, it isn't so much. That's what this reminds me of.
I
Well, and
think-
you guys are going to kill me, but
I
the
think this
back
looks
of this car looks
really
like a
good.
Ghia.
A
little bit. They're
think
Volkswagen vibes.
a 356 and an Aston Martin of the time had a kid, and they made this car.
It almost it has a little bit of tail fins on the
Yeah,
back.
that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. It's got the little
Yep.
tail fins.
I love how this looks.
I think it looks cool. It looks kind of odd, and you definitely, when you roll up to an event, you'll be the only one that has it.
But it looks like it was a prototype reading into it.
Uh-huh.
They said 1 of 5 356B Beutler Porsche coupes constructed, sold new to Brumos Car Corporation.
I mean, look at the changes. They changed so many body panels.
Yeah.
Tons.
It kind of has like a Studebaker front end. Oh, I'm going to get chastised for saying that.
I'm going to stick with Ghia.
Ghia?
I
Seriously?
Remember, though, Porsche did a design study for Studebaker.
Oh.
They wanted the business from Studebaker, so
Yeah.
you won't.
Maybe I'm not far
maybe
off.
not too far off. The estimate is 300,000 to 400,000.
Yeah.
So we're looking at a VW notchback right now, which is a pretty rare.
I'm telling you.
I like
yeah,
that.
that's what that
Those
reminds
pretty
me
cool.
of. Is,
Yeah.
is a notchback.
I kind of like it because it's so unusual that I think you'd be welcome at open arms to any 356 meet. Because
But do you like it 300, 400,000 like?
Right.
if I had like 300, 400 million,
Yeah.
then I wouldn't mind spending 300.
No, I could see how someone adding
Is this my
to
one
their
and only
collection.
car? No. It's,
Yeah.
Now remember, and so we'll go back to Damon. What could I buy instead? You could buy a 964 Carrera RS.
Yes, you could.
Yeah, but there's so many of those. There's
Oh,
probably
yeah.
like 2 of these.
Yeah, they're a dime a dozen.
You would be
everywhere.
repairing this, so if you drove it, you would have to accept that, stuff might happen. You might have to fix it, take it to
No.
a shop or whatever. And man, I wonder, you get a door ding in this or
Oh, don't
whatever.
worry about that.
No, what your biggest worry is going to be, anywhere you take it, you're going to have to explain the history
Yeah.
There's
of
that
Beutler
too.
and Porsche and what this is, because
Yeah.
no one will know what it is,
Yeah.
and they will all ask you questions of, did you do this yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
In
let's,
my backyard, right?
let's see. Let's move on to this next one, which I noticed the PCA decal. And this is a 1983 911 SC Cabriolet.
So this is the first year of the first ever 911 Cabriolet. You would think they would have done it before, but because of government regulations, the Targa was the best they could come to open air driving. But at the last year of the SC, they decided to debut with Peter Schultz driving force a Cabriolet version. And this is it, the SC. So it's a 1 year only for the SC model. No power top, all manual.
Sugar scoops, no spoilers.
Yeah, this is looks like
White Fuchs. I'm
a
guessing
fairly stock car.
Grand Prix white.
What's the mileage? I can't see it.
I looked at it because a lot of times they don't list the mileage, so you have to look at the odometer.
Odometer.
It's not a garage queen.
So 46,000.
46,000 miles.
Okay.
And the estimate's what, 60 something?
Yep, 60 to 80.
60 to 80. I mean, SC
think that's
Cabriolets
low.
aren't super rare.
They're
But
undervalued, I think.
I think that's low.
I don't know.
Well,
actually.
do the same thing. You back in from the coupe.
Uh,
And so take a 46,000 mile SC coupe in white,
yeah.
and it's pristine, perfect.
Yeah.
Let's say it's 80,
Yeah.
85. So,
This is taking a hit because it's a cab?
of course.
Yeah.
Oh.
And
I don't
SC
see it
cabs
that
take
way.
even more of a
But
hit.
I guess
Yeah.
I mean, now that you explain that, I get it. But
Yeah.
I
The
think
only
this is
the
a
only
beautiful cab for
cabs that
60
are
grand.
that are super desirable
356.
are the speedsters and the cab 356s.
Yeah.
So once you got to the 911, they don't tend to do as well as the coupes.
I think this would be an incredible buy for somebody at 60 grand.
I doubt it's going to go there.
oh, really?
I mean, I'm going to guess
What do you think,
Okay.
Bob?
So my general feeling...
high
and-
50s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My general feeling is that SC cabs, few people know about them compared to 964 cabs or 993 cabs and whatnot. 911 SC Cabriolets, I feel like the Delta's larger than all the other 911s that have Cabriolet models between those and the coupes. So the way I think of it is if you want 911 Cabriolet and you want it air cooled and you want it as cheap as possible, SE cab is probably where you're looking. I tend to think that there's something about them that looks a little bit more lightweight and what's the word? Spindly is not the the word I'm looking for, but lithe and just sort of, I guess, sinewy compared to like a 964 cab, which looks a little bulky with its tonneau cover, and all that stuff. So I think they look great. They're the best looking 911 cabs.
This is crazy to say. The way I'm looking at it is my sister just bought a Honda Odyssey that was almost 60 grand. Here you're getting a vintage car, bulletproof engine. It's in great condition, low mileage for 60 grand. That's going to stay.
And you can definitely squeeze in 2 kids, car seats, and groceries in the SE.
That's besides the fact. But cars are so expensive now. And this for 60 grand, I think is like a smoking deal.
Well, and again, the interesting thing would be to track some of our guesses.
We should
and see how we did.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to spend somebody else's money.
Yeah. Can I ask you, of all of these auctions, you are in the business of buying and selling cars. Are you looking to go to these types of auctions or other kind of dealer only types of auctions to find the vehicles that would end up in your inventory?
Well, my personal inventory or for other clients?
For
you're going down to Amelia. Which one?
Yeah.
Which one are you gonna?
to buy and
There's
sell.
like 2 auctions. So
Not to add to your
right?
personal collection, but to buy and sell. Like, is there enough meat on these auctions for a business to buy a car and then
Not
resell?
for me.
Not for you?
And one of the value added is for my customers, 98% of the cars are never available. They're not out there. They're not on the radar screen.
You're getting
They're
them
not
before
at
they launch
auction.
here.
Right.
Yeah.
And I've always said, and auction houses, please don't kill me. I've always said, amazingly great cars don't go to auction.
I think they even say that. Because sometimes they are part of the deal behind the scenes too.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I mean, I think anyone selling a car would probably love to just get it over with. And if you have a buyer and the price makes you happy, that's a perfect scenario. But with an auction, they're taking care of the bulk of work also. And it's a service, right?
Yeah.
I mean, bring a trailer, as we're discovering, is a lot of online auctions just in general. It's a lot of work to get your car properly prepared for that.
Oh, yeah.
And whatnot.
I mean, it honestly, it would scare me to buy a car at auction. I mean, I've never driven the car.
Yeah.
And you start it up and drive it 5 miles after you bought it, and you're like, oh, good God, what is wrong with this car?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get it.
It should be mentioned, actually, on that note, just going back a little bit, the 356, what was it? The sedan-looking one? Flipping through. That doesn't run, so if you buy that, it will need restoration.
Small details.
Yeah, but a 356, honestly, probably get it running in 2
We got an
hours.
engine right here. We can sell.
Yeah, right. There we go.
Before Vu starts finishes taking it apart, little by little.
I keep
Little
taking
by
stuff
little.
off. I keep taking
It
stuff
does
off.
get it looks like it's a little lighter since I saw it last.
I needed parts.
It's like his personal swap meet right there next to the door.
Gosh.
Well, that's a good lead into the next car that we have. We have a 356, a 1952 1500 Super Coupe that kind of looks like something that you drive.
I would buy that just so I could park next to Bob and say mine is older than that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I will admit, I have engine envy. This is a 70 horsepower. Mine's 55. And people out there are like, yeah, big deal. Who cares? 15 horsepower. Ha! I mean,
In the weight of
that's
that car.
30. It's, it's 30%.
Yeah.
And
It's
that's
my only chance of beating him.
well, and I don't, and again, it could be the computer screen. I don't think that's the right color
It's probably the photo.
for what they're.
I'm thinking it's the photo. But look
It says radium green metallic. I like. Does that mean it goes in the dark?
Well,
It should have like
beautiful.
a greenish.
it really looks like fishtail silver, but
fish scale or fish tail?
fishtail.
Fish
Fishtail. Yeah.
tail. Oh,
I know. I heard it. Prescott told us about the scale.
yeah.
So they put tails in there too.
Well, fish scale silver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they put
that the
scales
color?
in, but I think the color is called fishtail
tail.
silver.
Is this the color? If you look on the screen right
Yeah,
here?
look it up, please, because we want to correct me if
Now
I'm
this
wrong.
car is being or is estimated at 150 to 200, and here's where I'll go. I think that's also a steal.
Bob, that doesn't seem too high for
Yeah,
getting
for
a
that is.
52.
Well, it's not, but keep reading.
Oh.
So it's not the original engine. Looking through some of the stampings, there's nothing real. It's all been restamped in terms of the Reuter sticker and
So it's been restored.
let's say yes.
Okay.
Restored.
Yeah, it's not original.
So that word says synthetic resin varnish. So I don't know if that
How do you pronounce that?
Kunstharzlack.
Maybe it's the
Kunstharzlack.
type of paint was used.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. We'll have to,
Interesting.
yeah.
Interesting.
Did you look up fishtail?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Anyways, beautiful car.
It's gorgeous.
150 grand. If you're looking to get in and drive one,
Right.
ready to go.
That's a roller bearing crank too, right?
Originally it was. Most of the folks have pulled that and then changed it out because the roller bearing crank needed it needed a lot of warm up, needed that oil to really be flowing, and unfortunately a lot of people didn't do that, and so you had failures.
So here is
There's
radium.
radium.
that's radium.
Yeah.
Right.
That's an even
I
prettier
can tell.
color.
I can see that's like a.
Radium green is a gorgeous color.
That looks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they must have gotten the color wrong.
Yeah, I think
Or
so.
the lighting or whoever processed
Yeah,
the
or the
photo.
lighting, yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful car.
Yeah, they're
hopefully we get to see it in
beautiful.
person. The next car, a car that people say doesn't always get a lot of love, but we love it here. And it's the same year as my own car. And to see the estimate there does not mean that your 996 is also worth that.
I emailed this to your wife.
Do not do that. Do not do that. 1999 996 Carrera with aerokit in silver. Estimate for $65,000 to $85,000.
What's the mileage?
Actually, not that low. 46.
Okay.
For which engine?
That's
You're so not right. But it also has the IMS bearing already done. It has I forget what the red interior is called, but it's like the
Boxer red special
yeah.
leather
Red, yeah.
interior.
Boxer red, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of a polarizing interior. Some people love it, some people hate it.
Yeah, this car has a ton of
Options.
that little option sticker is probably like maxed out.
Yeah,
Might even have 2 stickers.
looks super clean. I hope it goes for.
What do you think of the wheels? I'm not in love with
I
the
was
wheels.
going to bring that
I
up.
like those wheels, but it doesn't look good to me on the car.
I hate these wheels, and sorry for anybody who has them. I would never have these on my car.
Let me
They
say it
just don't work.
correctly. I am not a fan of those wheels. Just because it looks like it's a pain in the behind to clean.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
What's your guesstimate?
I don't think it's going to, well, I don't know. I don't think it's going to get 85. I think it'll be lucky to get to 65,000.
I think it just barely breaks 50.
Yeah.
Wow.
I would say closer to
Wah,
50 than
wah,
55.
Oh, Bob.
Sorry, it's a 3.4. You either like that engine or you don't.
I love the 3.4.
It's got a lot of options, that's for sure.
Super clean.
It's silver, red interior, very polarizing.
Yeah.
But the 3.4 has plenty of horsepower.
It's okay, and a lot lot say it's much more
God,
reliable.
yeah, this is what happens when a
is.
guy drives
Yeah.
cup
I
cars
know.
Oh,
and
stop it.
GT3 RSs.
The aerokit does it justice. It's
Yeah. I would just keep the wheels and swap something
I'm
else.
Is gonna say, let's
does
watch
it
and
look
see.
like the is it like stock right height? Because the stance looks different than yours.
because mine is
Lowered
not
a little
exactly stock. That is definitely stock.
so
right height.
definitely whoever buys it, get it lowered.
Yeah.
I think maybe
It's stock right height. That's why I lowered mine immediately.
yeah, it doesn't quite have that. I love the aerokit 996s. They are
That car
Click.
lowered and a set of MYO2s like mine, spectacular. Or get like some BBS LMs
I'll get
on
BBS LMs
LMs on it
every
Yeah.
day. Yeah,
Money.
Yeah.
I'll bet you those rims are made by
I actually
BBS.
like that red.
They
interior.
probably are.
I think they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
I thought those wheels came on C4s. Those look like C4 wheels.
I don't remember what they came on. I think they were optional.
Yeah.
I don't think
They're
they
probably
were
optional, but probably
Yeah.
came on the C4s.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah, I
luck.
like that red interior.
Yeah.
I do
hopefully-
too.
I
love it.
What I worry is that
Fades.
it ages like the boxer red interior.
Yeah,
it
it
turns
does fade.
orangey.
It does. It does. All right. Last car that we're going to take a look at from Gooding and Company, and this is what I consider the GOAT. This is the 1989 Ruf CTR Yellowbird.
All right, Damon, you can correct them here.
No, they have it in quotations.
Oh, okay.
So they got it right.
I didn't see that.
It is a CTR, and it's Yellowbird. And for those who don't know, it's not a real Yellowbird, with air quotes, because there's no NACA duct on the back.
Yeah.
It's only one.
There's
real
only
Yellowbird.
one. Yeah. There's only
Mr.
one Yellowbird.
Mr. Roof owns it.
Yep.
Yes. And this one is, if you've watched that Fascination video and always dreamt of driving like that, I mean, man, you could have your own now for a small fee of $3 million. Yeah.
Well, but look what Roof did to make that car actually work. So he's using the 3.3, but to make it actually drivable and more drivable, he drops a 6-speed in, and then he twin turbos that engine. Mm-hmm. Because the problem with the 3.3 was you could run faster from 0 to 30. And so he fixed all the problems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except for the displacement. So
And the body. He used a narrow body, which is more
Right.
aerodynamically efficient for top speed.
463 horsepower at 6,000 RPM.
right.
I'd say.
And what does the car weigh? Probably unbelievable power to weight.
Yeah.
I forget how much, but it did get to 212 or 213 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Right.
Supercar.
Yeah.
And it's,
So what's your guesstimate?
Just over 2,500 pounds.
oh my gosh.
Good
No
Lord.
weight with that kind of power.
Man, what an amazing machine that's probably to drive.
And is that car also with the one with the integrated roll bar and everything?
He did that a lot. He did that a lot.
He did those on all of his cars.
Yeah.
At least by this era. Pretty sure.
Man, that car is iconic.
So starting bid at $3 million.
I have always been a huge fan of those wheels, and it works on that car. And they needed the mass of those wheels on that car, but I didn't realize how much heavier they are compared to Fuchs of the same period. Because I've thought about buying a set of those and putting them on my 87, but I don't think I have enough power to turn them.
Well, and if you look at that, this is one of the first cars we've seen that is not no reserve. This is a starting bid of $3 million, and it has a reserve. So this car is going to sell for $3 million plus
$3 million.
if it sells.
So that's the starting bid. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I see. Ooh.
So you and I can go in there. We'll raise our hands at 100,000.
Yeah, right. Roof is I feel like they've been in the news a lot more the past year or two.
Yeah.
Just in our media environment, more so than 4 or 5 years ago.
Hopefully we will get to visit him and his facilities here shortly. I did get a chance to meet him and Estonia, and they are just such good people. They are, because you don't know when you meet people like that, are they about themselves and the Roof name, or they are as giddy about Porsche and like wanting to be true and pay the proper homage to the brand and recreating things, because they are as excited about Porsche as we are. And to see someone be like that for someone that has what I think already such an iconic name, you're like, that's cool.
Yeah, they came to Rensport, to the PCA. I invited them to the PCA Island on Friday. I think they showed up, and he held court, I think, for 6 hours next to the car. He brought his 901, what was that called? The Blau?
Quick Blau.
Quick Blau, yeah. He had time for everyone, and of course, everyone was asking him questions, and I watched him. He just stood out there and was patient with everyone. You could tell he was an enthusiast. He loved his car and loved Porsches.
Absolutely. All right, so that, I believe, is the end of Gooding and Company. And we head over to Broad Arrow. Again, they will be...
This was the other car I picked.
Oh, and I
968 Turbo
love
S
these
and this
cars.
one.
I love.
I will say there's a lot more cars than we're featuring. I just picked 15.
Yeah, the first
what
one...
I think interesting cars, but there's a lot more. We could do probably part 2 show of all the Porsches that are being.
The first one that you chose, I knew Damon was going to be all over it, and Bob knows these very well.
I love them.
It's a 1988 944 Turbo Cup.
It's a Rothman Turbo Cup. So there were only 38 made, and they were turbo cup cars, but then in Canada they put on a special exhaust. So the Rothman cars are different.
Did these race only in Canada, Bob? Did initially the series?
Yes, I mean,
We had Firehawk in the U.S.
there was another series, the Escort series, that was supposed to come in, and you and I know, of course, that died.
And that didn't use a turbo; they used the regular 944.
S2.
Right?
Yeah, the S2, and then, but I think there were 11 Escort cars made. I think that's right.
These are all factory race cars.
Yeah, these are factory cars. There's, I think, 145 changes that they made to the street car to make the
And
factory
you have
car.
one of these, right?
I actually have two.
Of course.
I have, but one's going to be for
Parked
sale.
car and
No, good lord.
He brings in the cars and coffee.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, I have the entire Ludwig Heinrich team. I have car number 7 and car number 71. But these are amazing cars. For a long time, they languished and sat there at, $30, $40, $45, $50,000. And now people have realized these are amazing cars for what they are, and they're skyrocketing.
I think this car estimated at 150 to 170.
Yeah.
To me, I think that's a steal.
It's not. It's that would be the high end of this market right now. This is it's a very pure car. The Dicom car wasn't really banged around like a lot of them. And it's well done. It has all the right stuff on it. So we'll see what happens.
I would love to see Bob and Vu at an auction with about 3 or 4 drinks in them.
I'm in love, Bob.
Dude, this is a
I'm in love. It's a
Bob.
good deal, right?
I told you that happened once, and I showed up with the C4 lightweight. So that's not a good move. But these are amazing machines.
They
Hit
have
the bell. Hit the bell. Hit
magnesium,
the bell.
No,
It's totally worth it. There you go.
These are magnesium wheels, magnesium manifold, is it?
Yeah, intake manifold, lower oil sump is also magnesium. Cross brace, all the padding is removed. These are slick top. They have a lightweight front boot cover, engine bay cover. And then it just goes on and on and on and on and on.
So would I be correct in saying for what I think is kind of exotic and cool and all that, this car I would think is fairly easy to maintain?
It is. It's here's the wild thing. So in Canada, they were really trying to get this series going, and Porsche stepped up. So when you ordered a Rothman Turbo Cup car, the damn thing came with a warranty.
Nice.
That's awesome.
I'm not kidding.
Whoa, really?
And the warranty
Roadside assistance?
no roadside, but the warranty basically said if you service this car, we Porsche are going to cover the drivetrain.
Wow.
And
Race
so
car.
this is a factory race car that came with a warranty, which is nuts,
Unheard of.
Wow.
unheard of.
Yeah.
So this one, I think they said it was titled and street legal and all that fun stuff. Was that a thing back in the day, or is that because it's older and?
Mostly because it's older. There was a guy that bought up a lot of these cars, and he lived up in the Northeast. I'll leave his name out.
Mm-hmm.
In the Northeast, I know there's some wacky stuff that goes in the Northeast, but one of the interesting things was you could show up with a car and not have a title, and they would give you a title. So a lot of these cars in the U.S. now are quote unquote titled.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
There's still states that you can do that.
Yeah, it's more difficult.
I
but-
do like the one bullet point that Manny strives that people will probably use one day, and when they go to sell their cars, that this car has a photo shoot, not with Manny, but with a photo shoot with Patrick Dempsey.
Yeah.
And featured on Magnus Walker's Other People's Porsche.
And Forza Motorsport 7.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, it's a well-known car,
Yeah.
and supposedly a very good car.
And it comes with a set of BBS,
BBS
LMs
LMs.
with brand new Hoosier R7s.
So these magnesium rims in great condition
Do not wanna use
are
them.
easily 10 grand. So
Yeah.
you take the LMs and you sell them off and try to find another set.
How are they as far as long-term durability?
They had issues. There's a number of them cracked and failed. There are ways to repair the magnesium rims, but it's magnesium.
Yeah.
So there were problems.
Yeah.
So if you plan on vintage racing it, you probably want to
Yeah.
get it checked really well.
Well, yeah, even then, if you check it through X-ray analysis, the next day a crack could start.
Right.
So it's,
And there's other options to use.
yeah, there are.
I want to be in the waiting room with a magnesium wheel at the X-ray center.
So something to be
Sitting in the hallway with your wheel.
So in the description, it says that the current owner or previous owner of 10 years had the head gasket replaced at a cost of $12,000.
Well, obviously they went to a different shop from AtSpeed.
Ah, gotcha.
That's
AtSpeed would have been
absolutely,
20,000, right?
that's absolutely ridiculous. I
Okay.
mean, it's beyond ridiculous.
Okay,
But
you heard it here first.
But
So-
they probably did more than just
Yeah,
the
I was just going to say. So
Yeah.
what it means is they probably did the whole head. They did, guides and valves.
So
and
you have to
springs.
ask why the head gasket went up. It's
Well,
just right?
They went up. These amazing, brilliant tuners that are smarter than Porsche. Of course, you can get easily 350 horsepower out of this engine. Yeah. Well, Porsche factory cars stopped at about 280. And why? Because the head gasket blows. And so there's a reason.
All I can
that-
think about it was our Italian friends who are brothers, and they raced 944 turbo.
Oh, yes.
That's what internally I said. I will never race a 944 turbo because every session they had the hood up and they were working on it, but they also had it like majorly modified.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to get every last ounce of boost they could.
Right.
All right, let's go to the next car, which some might not believe that it's a Porsche. It's a 1958 Devin.
Yeah, it's technically not a Porsche, and it wasn't a Porsche for most of its life.
Right.
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
I didn't get a chance to check to see whether or not this would be allowed at the Porsche Concours, and I say that because these are called specials, so that's what they classify them as. Yeah. So what was happening? So you see the Spiders, of course, were very popular, but just like GT3 RSs, they were hard to get, and a lot of people wanted them. More people wanted them than they had the capacity to build Spiders. So they would you had aftermarket manufacturers who were providing bodies and a lot of time chassis. All you had to do was provide the engine. And so they would take a 356 engine and put it in a body that, you squint at your eyes, resembled a Spider to a certain degree, and was usually a lighter weight. And they had different names. Devin was one of them, and they made several of them. And they did fairly well for the club races they were entered into. So nowadays, I think if you can prove that this was originally built back then and maybe even raced, they will let you enter it. And I don't want to speak for the Prairie Concours people, but at least that's the way it used to be. But I also remember that there was a lot of discussions in conference rooms whether or not certain cars were allowed to be entered, because the Porsche Parade specifically says it has to be a Porsche, which means the chassis, engine, and transmission. But anyways, I think it's a pretty unique part of history from that era when Porsche was becoming a giant killer.
Do you like it enough to pay $70,000 to $90,000?
For if I was going to do vintage racing, this would be a car that would probably get you an immediate invite.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. That's why
I was thinking a solid 1958 356 B, right? That'd be
that's an A.
That's an A.
Yeah.
That'll be an A.
Yeah.
For 70 to 90.
But think about this car, though. It's if you want something unique, and it's a convertible. I don't think it even has a top, does it? It must have a top because it has like the little clasp.
Who knows? It might not.
Or
Probably
tonneau
just a cover.
Tonneau
Yeah,
cover,
just a
yeah.
tonneau cover.
I'm gonna guess Bob is not a fan of this car.
You guys know me well enough. I'm a purist.
Yeah.
So why take something that says Porsche and then use
Does that mean you don't-
60% other
You don't
parts?
like the 8-bar Carreras?
I like
those are based on 356.
Actually, I love the styling of that car. So that's an anomaly for me. I think that is an absolutely gorgeous car.
But I mean, to
But
be on your
functionally-
side here, though,
functionally,
it
it's
started
not
as
a great car.
356.
Pardon?
It started as a 356, the A-bar. This
Yeah.
one didn't.
Right.
So,
It,
I mean, we can
it
give you
started
a
as
pass.
the A-Barth Carrera started as a Porsche, and then somebody took it and said, all right, let's change this, and this. And I think it's gorgeous what they did, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I would be torn with this one if taking a stock A for that value versus this car. This one definitely is unique. I'm sure it probably is more fun to drive, just the way the layout is. But it's not a easy decision for me.
So you'd rather have just a coupe.
I think so.
And just
I think so.
Yeah. It was powered by a Rover V8 for a long time, it looks like.
Huh.
Yeah. So when I was saying it was Porsche power recently, very recently.
Oh.
Yeah, as in
'cause
2020.
I guarantee
Now-
it's not worth that much with the Rover V8, but if you put
Yeah.
a Porsche, suddenly it becomes
It was
suddenly we're
restored-
talking about it.
Interesting. Huh.
So it was restored for more than it'll probably go for, actually, unless it gets the top end.
Huh.
So passion project, it looks like.
Yep. All right. Next one I know Damon's going to like because it's a transaxle car. We're talking about this beautiful 87 944 turbo. I would say another mortal purchase, potentially a mortal purchase, estimated at $50,000 to $70,000. Top of the market in estimate.
what's the mileage?
I'm trying to find the mileage now.
Report shows the car had only reached 15.5 by 2004.
Looks super clean.
Yeah, super clean.
Super
At the time of cataloging, is the odometer showing?
Tough thing about these cars is the odometers were notorious for
Yeah, there was one picture.
stopping when you went to reset the mileage while you were in movement, the trip odometer.
Right. Well, and again, we talked about it. Here's where the anomaly shows up. Let's say it's super low mileage, and it looks like the interior's in wonderful condition. It looks like it's under 10,000 miles
Oh, no.
in
2000.
1991.
15,000 in 2004.
Why don't they have them?
And then the second
They-
one.
Under 16,000 miles.
right,
Offered
so-
with
Oh, there we go.
16,000.
Yeah.
Offered with-
So here we have a relatively low mileage turbo. Now
Interior looks like it.
it's red. Red is not the
common.
best color. But there's this low
Why isn't red
mileage
the best
group
color?
out there.
That's a great color.
No, it's not the most popular color for
Because
sure.
it's so common?
Well, no, red goes in cycles. And so, 10 years ago, red was super popular.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And
It's
now,
not in vogue.
it's coming back up now as
There was
as
a movie
popular.
called 16 Candles.
Right.
Made these things immortal.
Right.
And that car was red.
It was, but it was a non-turbo, an 84.
Oh my God.
Sorry.
Not wrong. He's
Could
not
never
wrong.
go to a Star Wars.
Sorry.
movie. That's not possible because the sun is not aligned at that.
Oh, you're killing me. So low mileage people come out, and I don't know.
But what is a low mileage person? Because I was told that low mileage people are like less than 10.
There's all kinds of groups. There's the rapper person, and that's a car, let's say, less than 1,000 miles.
Oh, rapper WRAP.
No, and so they want it in the wrapper. There are guys that'll pay a ton more for sub 100 miles.
Oh my
So
God.
a car never touched. It did nothing its whole life. It has sitting disease. It's a disaster car, but they'll never drive it.
Those are probably the cars like you would sell because that would be all word of mouth, right? As there's not that many to choose from, right?
Not really. I mean, Manny, honestly, my folks drive their cars. And so unless a guy's a trillionaire and says, hey, Bob, I want this car, I talk them out of a 100-mile car because I'll say to them, we're paying X for 100 miles. You're going to drive it. In 5 years, it's going to have 5,000 miles. Why would we pay X?
Right.
Do you ever think
No.
this to me, this 944 is the most basic common 944. This in the 86. So it's not an S. You're not talking anything super desirable. It is the first year of ABS. To me, it's the kind that if it's in great shape and the low mileage is a plus, but you shouldn't be afraid to drive this car.
I totally
'Cause
agree.
I don't think it's going to go up in huge amount of value in 10 years. It's just it was a great example of a car that's been well maintained and it's low miles, like my 914. I would treat it like that. Like I'm not going to drive it in assault, but I'm not going to be afraid to drive it either.
I totally agree. I mean, 16,000 miles, you can enjoy it. It's right in that sweet spot where you've got a pretty low mileage car that actually has been run, hopefully maintained. And for me, the 944 Turbo and the S2 are absolutely iconic cars. They're beautiful. Even today, they survive and they look very current.
Yeah.
I think I've said it before. Jason, he absolutely adores these cars just because of the flip-up headlights. He loves the lines. He loves the hatchback.
Yeah.
He loves the lights. And you can have a vintage car for not a whole lot of money that's super drivable.
And relatively easy to work on.
Well, and very reliable.
Yeah.
The doggone things are amazing.
Yeah.
Just the clutch is not cheap.
It's true, but how often do you do that clutch? Once every 80,000 miles?
Yeah. You've got a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if we
Unless
break
the
a bolt,
rubber center.
Yeah, the rubber center tends to
Oh, it's
disintegrate.
deteriorate.
we'll just start working on it and midway through take it to Bob.
Oh.
That's
The
that's
dig.
mean.
The dig.
Dig.
I thought that was an option that was like a feature.
A
about-
DIYer probably wouldn't do a clutch on one of these.
No,
Probably
they're
not.
very tough.
But I believe 14, 15 hours is what the book says for the turbo compared to 8.
Do you have
for
to lift the
naturally
engine up a
aspirated.
little bit? You have to tilt it a little bit?
Well, yeah, there's all kinds of
Turbo plumbing, right?
there's all kinds of tricks.
Yeah.
You know, get that shaft out.
I see.
So it's a bear.
yeah.
All right. The next two cars we're going to talk about, they're kind of around the same price range. So I'd be curious to hear which one you would take home. The first one is a 2002 911 Turbo X50 in white, gorgeous car.
How many miles?
5,400 miles.
All right.
5,400 or 54?
100.
Yeah, 5,400 miles.
That's the only reason I think that price could be so high, right, Bob?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, that's probably
Yeah, because an X50 turbo with, let's say, 40,000 miles won't even probably break 100.
Yeah, because the next car, we'll come back to this one, but the next car for the same price is a 2002 911.
So this is what
GT2.
confused me, and I wanted to get Bob's opinion, so I didn't ask him that earlier. This seems like it's underpriced.
That's way underpriced.
Exactly.
How many miles?
28,000 miles.
Okay. It'll probably go over 2 if somebody knows what they're doing. But
I thought this was a steal.
yeah, this is pretty.
So for those that don't know, a GT2 is essentially a 911 turbo, but it's only rear-wheel drive. It was a very raw car, surely one of the Widowmakers.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it was much more limited in production than a
Yeah,
turbo was.
It's estimated here at 160, 180, which I don't understand.
That's cheap.
That seemed
Yeah.
really cheap.
Honestly, that's
And I
cheap.
read the ad like 3 times going, where does it say it's missing an engine?
Right.
Or it's
One
been
of, like,
been underwater for
300.
a couple of years.
Right.
One of 330 something. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah. They're rare. They've caught on in the last 4 years. They've really gone on a ballistic curve.
I mean, it's silver, so it's not like a
Right.
super like a Riviera blue or something. But still, that's a sharp looking car.
It is for the same price. If the two cars sold the same dollar, this is the steal.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would win.
I
cars
thought I
with
was
both of
missing
that.
something. I'm like, how could these two be in the same ball?
Now, which one is easier to drive? Because essentially the power output is identical. Which one is easier to drive? The turbo,
Yeah, sure.
because it's all-wheel drive.
It has PSM.
Yeah, that plants the car. It's a twin turbo Metzger 3.6, which is the best engine ever built, and the darn thing never breaks. And it's a ball to drive out on the street.
I'm going to say something that's probably not popular, but I like the front end of the 911 Turbo more than the GT2.
Yeah, for this one, yeah.
I feel
would
like
probably-
the gaping vents of the GT2 just looks aftermarket. It doesn't look.
It's the same thing. It just has the. I mean, the vents. They're actually the exact same.
Is it?
No,
very-
this
very
is a little
similar.
bit bigger. This is a
The
little
turbo
bigger
has
here.
I think the turbo has the lines on it too. It's just black,
Yeah.
Yeah.
or a bunch of grills in it.
Yeah. I think the turbo just looks cleaner.
You know why I know that? Because remember when they did the presentation on the 918 Spider, I think, and they said that there cannot be any openings in the body of the car bigger than a baby's head.
Right.
So that's why you have the lines that go across.
Yeah.
And then they asked us, is it very common for babies to be on the highway? We're like, no.
All right.
Who came up with that calibration?
That's what they were very
Yeah.
confused about.
Is
that.
it a little baby head or a big baby
You
head?
can just see, a bunch of Germans in their lab with a pair of calipers measuring.
I'm sure they do.
I think the one picture they showed me of the 19 Spider as an internal joke, they had 3 babies sitting in the front trunk as extra. They said, well, if there's so many babies on the highway, then you can pick them up and take them with you.
Now, here's a sort of a wacky thought, and there's no way to validate this, but if the GT2 had the same mileage as the turbo and the GT2 was white, I will bet you it would see close to 300.
I would rather.
I
I would
would
rather have
agree,
GT2 in white.
Yeah.
And silver.
It just blew me away that, to me, that's such a smoking deal.
Yeah.
Screaming.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't buy it as either one as a daily driver. So now you're buying a car for the weekends, maybe collectible. And I would definitely win Cars and Coffee with that car.
Yeah.
So can we all agree out of all 3 auctions we've reviewed today that this is the one to watch?
Yeah.
This is the bargain.
This is the one to watch.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The GT2. That's the bargain.
Okay, so if we haven't convinced you enough, you need to go see it for yourself. When you do head over to the Broad Arrow Auctions, PCA members get in for free. You just show them or provide them your PCA membership number, and you can get your bidding paddle. And good luck to you, because I hope you go home with a GT2. All right, so let's make sure if you haven't signed up for PCA newsletters, you can sign up for Performance News, eBrake News, and Mart Fresh News, all free. Head over to PCA.org. In the news today, we're talking about 2025 and how that might look for Porsche.
Yeah, it's still same thing we've been talking about near the end of last year, the effect of China and to a certain degree what the changes the new administration is doing, and they're really not sure when the dust settles what things will look like. But Porsche is, I guess, what do you think? Like revamping their
Strategy.
long-term strategy, long-term outlook. So according to let's get this thing off. So the Reuters had the best summary in their news. So Porsche is going to launch new combustion engine cars because of the lower EV demand. Now, before you get excited and say, thank God they're back on to making gas cars, that can also mean simply that they're going to continue making the Macan, the Cayenne, the Cayman Boxer, as long as demand exists. But what it also probably means, at least for the short term, there's not going to be any development on these cars because they weren't developing them. So ultimately what happens is the non-enthusiast, the customer who's also shopping BMW or Mercedes or Corvette, are going to look at those cars that are maybe being developed more and say, well, that's a better value and that's more up to date because the 718 hasn't been improved upon for years. And that's where you'll see the sales start to go downward on these cars. Porsche, this is something that's going to affect their profits because they're going to revamp the battery-related expenses, which will hit the 2025 profits. That means probably that they're rushing. I can imagine they're just in a speed development for their hybrids, or going to start pushing more on the hybrids. Remember, development of a car, if you watch just the Inside the Studio with Grant Larson or Tony Hatter we have on our YouTube channel in the past couple of weeks, you can just see how much just the design of the car takes. And you can imagine how much it takes to develop a new chassis, a new engine, new transmission. Not something you do in a couple weeks. It's not like these reality shows where they redo the whole car in 1 hour like Bob's Shop does.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And we remember for the longest time we talked about Porsche was like 20% margin. That's where we want to be at. And now they're saying expect 10 to 12% margin this year because the shares have fallen 7%. So
I feel like it's the perfect storm, and the challenge ahead. I mean, contracts in place, suppliers, not just Porsche, but just the car industry itself. Yeah. And now with regulations or deregulations, and whether or not the charging infrastructure will come online as they hoped. I mean, there's just
aluminum, steel tariffs as well, which
yeah.
have been announced. But what if they start building here in the U.S.?
We did see something about that, but again, that's like turning around the Titanic. It's
it takes time.
It takes
not
time, and
that they,
and do we have that luxury? I would say we don't.
Well, unfortunately, and we won't get too far off topic, but you see the impact of governments on the auto industry, and so you saw the change toward EV because a bunch of governments got together and said, all right, we're going to make this happen. And now you see the change like, holy cow, are we too far in EV? Because now you're seeing a change back to let's provide what the consumer wants versus what we're jamming down their throats. So you can see these changes, ebbs and flows that will go in cycles. And it's got to be tough from a manufacturing standpoint.
In addition to that, your competition is being subsidized by governments, and also a cultural shift in wanting their country's people to be driving their country's car.
Sure.
Man, that's not a level playing field.
Like it's funny that you mentioned that, because I was talking to somebody. I'm bringing in 2 cars from Germany right now, a real 1971 911 ST and a 1976 Carrera. It comes into the United States, and our taxes are 2.5%. Well, I can't sell a darn thing into Germany, because by the time my buddy Thomas gets it, he's paid 30% more for the same car.
Do you want us to raise taxes?
No. What I'm saying, you're saying a non-level playing field.
Right, exactly.
And so this is why certain cars are flowing the way that they do.
I didn't realize that. So if you're in Germany trying to bring a car in, tax rate is way higher.
Oh, it's huge.
But that's not
massive.
new. I mean,
I didn't realize that. I never thought
massive.
Absolutely. Well, try buying a car in Canada, and why there isn't a mass of Porsches going around, because a Porsche in Canada is
super expensive.
Expensive because of the taxes that go along with owning.
Yeah, but now the Canadian dollar yesterday was 70 cents.
Right.
Right. America, I mean, and the euro was $1.02.
Yeah, it's
good for pound. Pound was super low.
It's headed toward parity, and all the pundits have said it was going to go to parity back in August or whatever. So, but there's definitely pressure on the euro.
Yeah. Oof.
That's great for us, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I'm rooting for Porsche. Hopefully they make it through.
They will. Well, let's talk a little bit about how much of the responsibility does Porsche bear for the parents, right? And
you mean Audi, Volkswagen?
Yeah.
Well, technically, Porsche's independent now.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Are
not
they?
really. They're still connected,
are they? I don't think.
Yeah,
they're an independent company.
Really.
And I'm going to be very unpopular here. The real sad part is that we were right on the cusp of really developing the diesel technology.
Oh yeah, I think we can all agree.
It's so sad.
We were so close. We were
close.
so excited at how Europe was enjoying diesel for the longest time, and clean diesel, but with all the fiasco.
Yeah, thank you, Volkswagen.
But there's still cool diesels around. I saw one of our Porsche friends has a Duramax diesel Colorado, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah,
but
you're talking about development.
No more
Development on the diesel engine has essentially stopped.
It's done. It's done for.
But in the same stroke of a pen, you can get a government that says, "Hey, you know what? Let's do this now," and diesel technology would take off.
But especially in the U.S., I'm sure the auto manufacturers, it's not simply a stroke of a pen, because by the same token, a stroke of a pen can reverse it.
Oh, I agree.
So the
That's what we're
development
seeing.
process, how much money do you put in the development
Gamble of-
process?
yeah.
All right, we're back on the diesel bandwagon. You know, I love
we're not.
diesel, but
Right.
I'm thinking from a business standpoint, do they say, yes, let's get it back? And then in 4 years, it's reverted.
Oh, yeah.
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 It makes Toyota and Mazda and some of these companies and Honda even didn't go super hard into electric or
Yeah.
hybrid until recently.
Well, we wish them luck. I know it's a tall order, big task. We wish them the best, and we're going to do our part and continue to buy Porsches that are available. Next week, we will be seeing some of you at Tech Tactics East, February 22nd and 23rd, Eastern Pennsylvania. I know we were sold out on Saturday, and we were very close to being sold out on Sunday. Looking forward to seeing you there. Works Reunion, Amelia Island is coming up March 7th. Registration is closed for judging, but we're going to leave, I think by the time this comes out, we will leave Corral registration open. We extended it just a bit because if you're just coming to join us, we'd love to have you. Treffin Homestead, which is April 30th to May 4th. If you're looking to go there, too bad because registration open and sold out in 4 minutes.
Oh, my gosh.
4 minutes, rivaling Taylor Swift tickets.
Yeah, boy.
Nothing. I don't think anything was wrong with the system. We just sold
No,
out.
we sold out.
I
It's just
saw a lot of
simple.
comments on
It's
the
not abnormal.
Chesapeake chat saying
A few
something's wrong,
Treffins over the
something's
years.
wrong with the system, and it's not.
No.
I think if you were getting the wheel of death,
Yeah.
that meant we sold out.
We sold out already.
And what happens is, of course, we've been saying this on the podcast, that you have to go in there, have all your selections done ahead of time, and get out quick.
Yeah.
Because until you pay and check out, they don't even consider that you're in the event yet. So
How many people are going to Treffin, guys?
it's 130, 120.
Okay, so
very
it's
limited.
a small
Very
amount.
small group.
Very
And
small.
it has to be by design because they're doing tours.
Okay.
And can you put 100 cars on a tour? Sure. Well, people have a good time? Absolutely not.
Right.
So it's very, I mean, if you look at some of these other groups that do tours like this, I think they're like under 20.
Yeah.
It's very small. So the Treffin team has quite a task on their hands to be able to bring as many people as possible while still making the whole experience worthy of a Treffin, which so far, evidently, they're doing it because it sells out so quickly.
Are you guys going?
No.
Okay.
Unfortunately not. Unfortunately. But Manny, you're the one that says all the time. Even Disney stops at a certain point so that everybody has a good time, right? Porsche Parade, Oklahoma. I got a little bit of a preview of what's going on there. I can tell you that there's going to be some surprises that will be there. Oklahoma City, July 6th through 12th. I did get roped into, we were with some Zone 5 Texas folks, and they challenged me, or I challenged them. I don't know how you look at this, but for those of you that don't know, I was born in Texas.
I didn't know
You
that.
can probably tell from my accent.
Where's your 10-gallon hat, partner?
And so they are challenging their zone because Texas is, I think, 2.5 hours away from Oklahoma City. And if they bring more than 300 PCA members to Oklahoma City, then I have to agree to wear whatever outfit.
Oh, that's right. That's not a challenge. That's you dream about that stuff.
So
I have to wear cowboy boots with laces.
So there you have it. That's the challenge. Treffin at Sea, we are getting close to 900 people aboard the 70th anniversary cruise. We sail August 30th to September 6th. If you're interested in coming along with us, just go to pca.org and you will see what is it?
You see so the Super Bowl was last night, and there was a really crazy commercial for Tubi.
Oh,
And it
really?
was cowboy skin hats.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah, really, really weird. But yeah, your whole Texas thing reminded me
Tubi,
of that.
what's Tubi?
What is that? What is that? Is it a
Tubi
movie?
is the
Isn't that the lady who's in charge of the CIA now?
oh gosh.
Don't look at me.
No, Tubi is the app that you watch the Super Bowl on if you didn't have like cable or whatever.
Oh.
So they were doing a promotion, and yeah, this commercial, yeah, really weird.
Oh, okay.
really weird.
All right. You want to give us a quick update on videos?
Man, now after watching those cowboy skin hats, I don't remember what we've done video wise.
Got the raffle video. That
Yes,
came
yes,
out
the
for
raffle
last time.
video came out recently,
and that was the fall 2024 member-only raffle. We surprised somebody in Birmingham, Alabama, where
Alabama,
Parade
yeah.
was last year. We also came out with a video from 2024's Tech Tactics at Parade with Tony Hatter, who talks about his career, but also, you know, his involvement in designing the 993, among other cars. So it's really cool video of a presentation. If you watch the Grant Larson one, it's very similar. A lot of inside material there. Other than that, I have several videos we shot a while back from Road Scholars, which I'm going to be starting on. So by this time, at least one of them will be out. So keep an eye out on it.
Okay. Want to make sure we give a plug out to PCA Sim Racing if you're looking to race against some PCA peers and at the comfort of your own home, especially with the snow that we might be getting tomorrow. PCASimRacing.com. If you're interested for some insider swag, head over to PCA's web store where we have bottles, mugs, and such. And if you're looking for insider decals, send us your address information to podcast@pca.org and we'll send you a few for your toolbox or for the side of your car. Anything else before we wrap this up, gentlemen?
Nope.
No.
All good.
No.
Well, thank you, Bob, so much for again helping me fix the Cayenne and
Oh,
also coming
pleasure.
here today. And
I'm going to give you your $20 so you can leave. So.
yeah, exactly. Everyone, thank you for listening, and be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and consider sharing our show with fellow Porsche enthusiasts. Until next time, stay safe, and we'll catch you down the road.